Hello and welcome back to the Psych-Legal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm the therapist, Tess Brigham.
And I'm Brooke Brigham. I'm the attorney.
And we are back with the season finale of Polyfamily. They're releasing 2 episodes at once. So this is going to be season 1, episode 5, Along Came Polly, and season 1, episode 6, Polyfidelity. And then I guess this is the end of the first season of Polyfamily, where I was telling you that, I'm constantly, because I've been going down the rabbit hole of this Polyfamily TikTok account and going on Reddit. And, all I think about is, God, I hate this family. It's so stupid. And then I saw that it was the end. I'm like, oh, it's ending? I love this show. What do you mean it's ending? How can you end?
Yeah, well, it's kind of strange because it is a very short season and this was just kind of sprung on us. We're only 4 episodes in. All of a sudden it's like, okay, next week, 2-hour season finale.
Yeah. Much like Taya having a family meeting and saying, we're not going to be a close squad anymore.
Right. Surprise.
Surprise, everybody. And surprise, I guess you may be the father. Surprise.
Yeah.
We don't look things up. Surprise.
A lot of surprises. Yeah. And I guess we're getting season 2 because it seemed like it ended on a cliffhanger,
Yeah. Oof, nail biter.
What's going to happen? But I don't know because this show, I don't know. It's not very good.
Yet it's great.
It's great. I know. Yeah, we can't stop talking about it. But
okay, well, first I want to complain about their TikTok account for a second because I have a bone to pick with whomever's leading this. Okay, hold on. I'm playing this. I'm going to turn down the volume. Okay, Taya, who's ever running this TikTok account. Okay, so they have all of these. They do all these little skits and vignettes and things, and so I would assume that the point of this account is to obviously help them make money, but it's to educate people about polyfamily, about this lifestyle. It's supposed to educate us about their family. Okay. So they have this, she takes this video and it's of Sean pretending. We know very clearly that he's not doing it, pretending to knit a scarf while Tyler watches him. So crocheting together sounds like a fine idea. And then at the top, it says, this is the note. It says, take notes, boys. This is what healing masculinity looks like. So let me get this straight, Taya. This really bothers me. This is a fake scene that you're not even bothering to make look real at all. We all know that Sean is not, this is a setup scene. And you're telling me that this is how boys heal. This is how masculinity heals itself, from creating fake scenarios with 2 men that can't stand each other.
Right.
One of which is a predator. It's like, you've got to be kidding me here. Like, this is the most insane thing I've ever seen. I mean, how is any of this? And Sean's wearing a Ninja Turtle shirt. It's like, God, grow up. Both of them are children sitting on this couch, pretending. Yeah. They're not even doing it well, pretending.
She's so preachy, she's so she acts like she's so enlightened, simply because she's willing to have sex with, whoever
comes around, because she's pansexual and I'm so free and I'm so hurt by the world. The world is doesn't understand me and
discriminating against me,
my specialness and my uniqueness. Yeah. And I'm so authentic, but I'm going to then have you pretend to do something that you don't really do and slap a label on it and tell us that it's something else.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's so troubling about this show is that it's like, who are you? Who do you think you are? Why are you preaching? Why are you so holier than thou? Like, just all of it, yet it's hard to take your eyes off of it because, quite frankly, Taya is the ringleader and she's kind of a train wreck. Like, it's a train wreck waiting to happen. And we see at the end of episode 6, it's like, again, whatever Taya wants, Taya gets. And it's like she proposes something that, everyone else, you could tell they feel like they have to go along with it.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
Well, it was very interesting too, because I think Sean will go along with whatever.
He doesn't
as long as he doesn't have to work and he can kind of grift his way along.
Mm-hmm.
And then poor Alysia is like, I can't have these men having sex with anyone else. Like, she's got to contain them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Tyler's reaction was fascinating, because the minute Taya said something, he's like, well, then we all should be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
We all should be able to do it. I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. Because in my mind, I think I would have started where Alysia did, which is like, this is a woman. This feels a little different. It's not, these are we're essentially looking at two heterosexual relationships. And so this is a different kind of you know what I mean? So I could see that. And I also get Tyler's point of view. I just thought it was interesting how quickly he jumped to it.
Yeah.
Like, he had been waiting.
Let's save that. Let's save that for when we get there, because that's a big part of the kind of the oh God, why am I blanking on the term? The cliffhanger. I'm sorry, it's a little bit late.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So we start out with going back to this thing with, they're determined to find someone who's going to tell them that, they can indeed all, have parental rights or control over all of these kids. And, they're still very worried about that. And so they go to this lawyer.
Wait, where are you starting from?
This is the first thing I have.
Oh, well, no, the first thing is we see Taya talking to Sean about her overnight with Tyler. And then they go into this whole thing about how it sounds like they're saying Quentin was not planned. And then they start talking about his vasectomy. Like, you need to take your sample back because we need to check your vasectomy. And then Sean and Alysia go on a big date. So this is the next day after Tyler and Taya get out of town. Sean and Alysia, their big date is going painting.
Okay, I don't know. My notes are very out of order then.
So they go painting. Okay, so they go painting, and she decides that she wants to paint with him because this is her way of connecting with him. Because all we hear about is how their intimacy is off, which I think is another way of saying they're not having sex, and not that much. Mm-hmm. And so we see Tyler and Taya taking care of all the kids at home, talking about Sean, and they're kind of ripping on them. They're all kind of like, oh, this is Sean and Alysia fun. And all Sean's doing the entire time is he keeps saying that he's so nervous about this painting thing, and that he keeps sweating. He's sweating constantly. It's like, I feel like he just loves to complain. But
he's extremely negative person
about everything.
Yeah.
But then he goes into this whole thing about talking to Alysia about Taya, and about freaking out about how Alysia feels about how she does not want to hear the details of this sex life that does not involve her. And he is so mean. He's like a monster. He's like, he tells her it's weird that she doesn't want to hear about the details of Tyler and Taya's sex life. And, he's essentially just shaming her for not being, I don't know, as open as he is, or willing to listen to these details. And poor Alysia, she has made this very clear to everybody, and not one person in that family seems to respect her or her wishes. Well,
especially not Sean, because Sean likes hearing about these details. Yeah. He gets off on it. And so, he calls her vanilla. He says that sex is a sore subject with her. And, he reveals that Taya reached out to Sean when she was on that trip with Tyler. Alicia's jealous of their relationship, and let's be real. I mean, Sean and Alysia don't have much of a relationship. They were forced into this, I believe, by Tyler and Taya, who just wanted to be together.
And I think that they kept claiming there was all this passion in the beginning of their relationship. Like, they're trying to get that spark back that they once had. But I wonder if the spark was really just the newness of this new person.
Yeah, and new sex.
Yeah, basically. And that basically once that wore itself off, they were like, oh God, what are we doing here? And then there was this whole thing, like Sean's putting her down about how, yeah, she's too vanilla and, I'm not really going to be tying you up. And Alicia's like, well, you're too lazy for that. He's like, yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was just like the worst date. I mean, this is what these two people get, is a painting date.
Yeah, no, it looks terrible. It looked like Alysia was on the verge of tears most of the time.
Yeah.
It looked awful. Sean, I don't think really cares. It's just like another person to have sex with when Taya's not around. Well, I guess he's not really having sex with her anymore, but I don't know. Alicia's not happy. I mean, throughout all both of these episodes, she just seems like on the verge of a nervous breakdown.
Yeah. Well, Sean needs to keep Alysia just happy enough so she doesn't break up with them, so that they can keep living there. Right. So, and then the next scene after that is Alysia and Tyler and their two older kids going to this carousel. I guess this is the big town has this carousel. And we go into this whole thing about her mom. She lost her mom when she was 18. Her mom was a real earth child. She would probably approve of this lifestyle, like that Alicia's living her truth, which I don't really think you are, Alysia, but that's a different story. And then they get into this whole thing about how they're building a carousel, like a unicorn. Someone's crafting it for them to put on the carousel. I guess you can pay to have that happen. And then this goes into Alysia. Alysia starts crying again, very emotional, because she's thinking about calling her dad and worried what happens if her and Tyler pass away and they have not resolved this stuff with her father. Will the father try to sue for her kids? And this whole thing about, her father's is not accepting of the quad.
Well, I have a couple things to say about this. Yeah. One, I think that, Alicia's relationship with her father and what happens to her children if she and Tyler both die, which is the statistical chances of that are very low. That really shouldn't be the most pressing. That really is not the most pressing thing in their lives, to be honest with you. But I mean, they're two separate issues. She's trying to say, oh, we've got to get him on our side, because if something happens to both of us, well, okay. I just find it so odd that all of them, like Tyler, Taya, and Sean, require this apology from Alicia's father before they will, entertain even, trying to talk to him and it's not like he cut her off. What they're mad about is that when he sent a Christmas card, he addressed himself, I guess, as the grandfather of the biological kids, but not the other kids. Okay, I just feel like they're being a little unrealistic. I mean, you got to give this guy a minute. I mean, how old is this man? He's probably in his 60s, 70s. I mean, truth be told, if my child came to me and told me they were living in this situation, I'd be quite concerned. Quite concerned. Especially given all we know about, Taya and Sean allegedly, I don't know. I haven't seen any evidence that they work outside of the home, other than the TikTok, that they just sort of show up one day and they're around your grandchildren and your daughter and they just start having kids and we don't know who the father is. There's a lot of shit about this that I would be like, something's not right. So I'm kind of team Alicia's dad a little bit on, slow your roll. Like, I feel like they have these strict requirements for him, for him to even just let him come to this in his own time. Okay. He said he didn't approve of this. Okay. Well, a lot of people don't approve of things that they don't understand. I just think they're being too hard on him. I think they're being too judgmental.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I think the part that is a big question mark is what exactly is her father saying to her? Is he saying, I will never accept those children if they are not biologically yours? I will never consider them grandchildren? Or is he saying something to the effect of, Alysia, I have a really hard time with this. I really have a hard time, accepting this kid when I don't know if he's biologically my grandchild, or I cannot approve of Taya and Sean because I just found out Sean has 5 other kids and maybe dad's looked Sean up. Maybe dad,
right, maybe he's done some research. I mean, dad has good reason to be suspicious of Sean and Taya. Yeah. I'm sorry. And so they're moving these people into their home and around his grandchildren and his daughter and his son-in-law, who he's known for a long time. Yes, he should be suspicious. I think it's unnatural that Taya's mom is so accepting. Honestly, I think that's not normal. She is way too accepting. You could tell she's the type of mother who is just way more like concerned with, being BFFs with her daughter than really like looking out for her best interest.
Yeah, I think what we're getting into is this whole thing about like, if you oppose this family and this lifestyle, then you're small-minded and you're a bigot and you aren't accepting of people. And it's a little bit like, no, that's not at all what it is. You can say I'm accepting of people's lifestyles as long as they're not harming other people and harming children. And this is a situation where I feel like this is not, this is harming these children personally. And so it's got nothing to do with that. But that's what Taya's going to latch on to always. That's the soapbox she gets on as a way of always being able to, kind of get her way. It's interesting that how she linked herself up to Sean because she really didn't need to. So why link yourself to this guy, this loser who is awful and complains and all that? But it's almost a little bit like, she needs him. She needs this, she needs someone who is going to be willing to go along with whatever and that she can control.
It's like he's desperate.
Yeah. And of all 4 of these people, Alicia's getting the most bum deal. So maybe her dad is trying to stand up for her. He says he's seeing like, you're getting the worst deal, kid.
Yeah.
Maybe. So I don't know. We don't know what the father's saying.
We don't know, but I just want to offer that counterpoint to all of this because I think they're being a little dramatic.
Yeah. So, let's see. We get into this thing. I can't remember if this is still at the painting party or not, but, we see Alysia saying, okay, well, I wanted to reach out to my dad. I got to talk to the quad. And then we see this whole thing of Sean and Alysia kind of get into it. It's this weird dynamic that we see where we see Taya and Sean, they start bickering, and it's because Sean's telling Taya what to do, and now she's pissed. And Alysia witnesses this, and that because Sean and Taya are fighting, Sean's pissy and mean to Alysia, and then Alysia goes to Tyler and complains to him about how all this stuff is happening. Like, this really? Like,
it's really dysfunctional.
This is the most dysfunctional thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And listen, I think obviously Taya had been up all night with the baby. And if I would want to punch Sean too, if Sean all of a sudden is like giving me tips and, well, maybe you should try this. Maybe you should try that. It's like, oh, shut up. Like, you're not the mom. You're not the one up all night with this baby. So keep your mouth shut. But it's just how a small interaction that these 2 people are adults. You should be able to recognize like, hey, I'm in a bad mood because I'm tired, or I'm in a bad mood because I'm not being listened to. No, that dysfunction just onto Alysia. Alysia can't handle it. She goes over to Tyler.
Well, and then Tyler, he can't even really stick up for her.
Yeah.
Because of the position that he's in with Taya. Because then if he sticks up for Alysia, then Taya might get mad. And God forbid,
Yeah.
Because she's the one who rules the roost. Tyler, you notice he's so afraid. Sean's not afraid. Sean will do and say whatever he wants. For some reason, he is not afraid. I'm not quite sure why. But Tyler is really afraid and walking on eggshells.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, because Tyler really doesn't want this little setup to go away. And also, I think, again, back to how quickly he was willing to say, oh, hey, you're going to hook up with another woman. Great. Can I hook up with someone too? I mean, I really think that for Tyler, it's about the lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? I think that Alicia's motivated by the relationship with Tyler. Tyler is motivated by the lifestyle and the ability to have Alysia and other people too.
Multiple partners.
And multiple partners.
Yeah. And Sean, he doesn't care if I feel like if despite what he says about being so concerned about paternity, I feel like if Alysia and Tyler went away tomorrow, I don't think he'd care because he would have, he would have the 2 babies that he had with Taya. And I think he's feigning, concern about you really think he cares about Raina and Dylan?
Well, do I think that he cares about them? No. I mean, it is very, very hard to listen to a man who has just abandoned 5 children tell you how important it is for him to be recognized as a father with these children. So,
yeah.
And then this is where they meet Catherine, the family attorney, who I thought was a little quirky, but just me.
Yeah. Catherine didn't really have much to say. I think she just wanted to be on TV. And she mentioned that she came from some kind of an alternative family. And so this is something that's near and dear to her heart.
Yes.
And I think what she was talking about was, so they were talking about second parent adoption. And she was saying that, there is precedent for that. And it's like, yeah, but that's something completely different than what we're talking about here. Second parent adoption is where you have usually like a same-sex couple. It allows the non-biological parent, the parent who, was inseminated by a sperm donor or, used a donor egg or, whatever. And there is no other parent who has any legal rights. And so it allows the non-biological parent to legally adopt their partner's biological child, granting them parental rights and responsibilities. It's used with same-sex couples, and it still requires court approval. So this isn't going to help them. I don't know what Catherine is thinking. I don't know why they keep harping on this.
No, I think Catherine, yes, I think it's a couple of things. I think Catherine wanted to be on TV, and I think Catherine wanted to have a platform for, I work with non-traditional relationships. But here was the difference between Catherine and the other woman. Catherine, it's both are saying, yeah, we'll just throw spaghetti up against a wall. The first woman saying, listen, it's not going to stick. And before you spend a bunch of time and money, why don't you think that through? And then Catherine saying, I don't know, it probably won't stick, but let's try. Give me your numbnuts are going along. And these dummies are going along with it. It's like, so and did you see the smile on Taya's face when she heard that there was some solution to this? She was just so happy and so like, oh, this is so much better. Almost this, again, back to the soapbox of that other attorney was a bigot or they were bad or they didn't want to try or whatever. It's like, no. Catherine just wants your retainer.
Yeah. And TV time.
And TV time, honey.
Notice that she promoted her firm. They showed a clip of the full law firm, the full name, the names of the attorneys. The other woman, we barely got her name on a chyron.
Yeah.
And, I kind of felt badly for her, like she'd been thrown under the bus.
Yeah.
Like she'd given them bad advice, and she did not.
No. I mean, anybody with half a brain can see what's going on here. But these 4 numbnuts who are raising 5 children cannot seem to figure anything out.
No.
Oh, my God.
So anyway, that came and went pretty quickly.
Yeah. And then we get into this weird thing where they're talking about, we see this section of time where they're having bedtime and they're all talking about how Sean has the special touch with the kids and
just hard to believe.
Yeah. And then he makes some comment about like his girth. And I was just like, ooh, why
what did that mean?
I don't know. And I was like, I think it was a little bit like this double entendre. It was just, why are we making these kinds of jokes around the conversation of children, especially you, of all people?
Well, because Sean is historically inappropriate.
Yes.
Around children. So
I'm sorry, I guess I
shouldn't really surprise anyone.
I know. And then this is where Alysia has to bring everything to the quad, which, God damn it, this must be so hard. Like, it's hard enough to, when you get married or you're in a committed relationship, to have to run something by one person, have to run it by 3 people every time. But anyway, we go into this whole thing where she asks them, she tells them, I'm thinking about reaching out to my father. And then we get this whole replay of what the dad did around the holidays. And yeah, this is, everybody wants dad to take accountability.
Yeah.
And there's this whole conversation around accountability and an apology. And is that really, boundaries? But what are our boundaries? Shouldn't we have I mean, I don't know. A lot of this stuff is getting so mixed up in here around, like, I really don't think that demanding an apology is really necessarily around like these boundaries. I mean, what we're really talking about is there's several layers of this, which is the first layer is Alysia and her father having a relationship. And I think that's really what Alicia's talking about, but they all make it about themselves. Like if Alysia has a relationship with him and he does not apologize to us, then therefore that is breaking breaking their boundaries or not respecting their boundaries. And
yeah, because they're inherently making her feel like, well, if your father doesn't apologize to us, like, how can we have a relationship with you? And that's why you can see how heavy this is for her, because it's like she wants a relationship with her dad, but she can't have it unless they get this apology and they're satisfied. And this made me think of a situation in our own lives where, we have someone who's treated us and our family pretty poorly, and we've never required an apology, to come back around, because sometimes you just have to give people grace because you're doing it for, somebody else or another reason or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's this strict thing of, I have to have a specific apology. Well, if that were true, then we never would have seen this person for the last, 50 years, 40 years or whatever.
Well,
you know what I mean?
And that's the other thing too, is we don't demand apologies, and we don't try to fix it or get into it simply because we know it can't be fixed. And the reason why we put up with it is because of this third party, because we care enough about the third party. And I think that's what Alysia was really asking from them is, this man is my father.
He's important to me.
My mother is gone. And yes, do I agree with what he did? No. I'm not co-signing it and not saying it's okay. But at the same time, you do sometimes in life have to, there's a lot of gray areas. And I've gone through this with clients many times. And I think it's very hard unless you've had to go through this gray area. People want everything to be so black and white. Like, you're in my life, you're not in my life. And and listen, there's lots of people, they themselves are complicated. They themselves don't quite, they're not fully formed. And you just have to decide along the way, like, if being nice to this person means that it's preserving the relationship of this other person that's important to me, then it's okay, fine.
Yeah.
Worthy of doing it. And then we see this whole this exchange between Sean and Alysia on the couch, where Sean says, well, we wouldn't be having this conversation if it wasn't your dad. And Alysia says, yeah, but it is. We are, because it is my dad. And Sean says, that means nothing at the end of the day. And it's like, yes, it does.
Yeah. That's the whole reason.
Something.
It's the whole reason why you would say, okay, do I like this? No. But am I going to do it because I love Alysia and Alysia loves this person?
Yeah.
I mean, it's very selfish, self-centered. Again, it kind of goes back to this whole thing like, well, if you don't accept our polyamory like right away, then F you, like, and it's like, you got to give people a little time and space. Give people some time and space to get to know you. Don't just shut them down simply because they're, obviously this man was shocked from one day to the next. Like I would be, I'm just thinking about myself as a parent. Like if I had to confront this, I think it would take me a minute because also too, there's all these, I feel, other ulterior motives that Sean and Taya have.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah. And this isn't just like, hey, Dad, Tyler and I are swinging, and this is what we do in our spare time and all of that. That is very different. I mean, yeah, no, you have exposed your children, his grandchildren,
to strangers,
people, and one of which is a predator. And Yeah,
Allegedly.
it is concerning.
Allegedly.
But this is allegedly, sorry. This is the other thing too, is just how, Sean is such an asshole. It's like he's so dismissive of.
He's so mean to Raina.
That means nothing at the end of the day. And, Sean, who are you to say that this man deserves an apology? So then we see in the scene, Alysia gets so upset, she runs off and he does nothing. He's sitting there kind of like, kind of sitting there. He does not bother to get up off the couch and go over to her and say, I am so sorry, comfort her, care about her. He basically waits for her to get herself together, sit back down, and kind of says, you feeling better? Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no wonder Alysia doesn't want to have sex with you. You don't, or vice versa or whatever. It's like you don't give her any warm feelings. I mean, it's just cold as ice, whatever.
Yeah. And then this leads into the next day where Taya, I don't know, it's in the kitchen. Tyler's doing dishes. Taya's there and she goes into the bathroom and she knocks on. I find it hard to believe that these people only have one bathroom in this entire house, but she knocks on the door and Sean's got the door locked. Ooh, what is he doing? So basically we find out that Sean's locked himself in the bathroom because he's got to give his sample to make sure that the vasectomy has stuck. And blah. Like, did we need to know any of this? Did we?
Well, yeah.
Was this a scene that we needed to have?
No. Well, this scene was disgusting from beginning to end. It started off with Taya saying, Sean would take a shit with the door open. So it's really weird that he's locked himself in the bathroom.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, thanks.
What a winner.
Thanks for that information. Then she goes into the bathroom and apparently he's having trouble finishing. So she finishes him off.
With Tyler in the other room.
I know.
And then I'm thinking to myself, what day is it? Is this Alicia's day or is this Taya's day? I want to know.
Violation?
Is this a violation of the rules? Psych Legal Pop will be back after these messages.
I mean, gross. Yeah. And so then she puts this sample in between her tits and they get in the car.
Well, no. Well, before they even go, we learned that Sean and Taya had sex that morning because Sean waits till everybody's in the goddamn living room.
And makes an announcement.
Saying, because did you hear that Alysia, one of the things that Alysia asked him a couple scenes earlier was, have you read the paperwork? And I think the paperwork was really around like you have to follow these rules. You can't
you're
have
supposed
sex.
to wait 3 days or something.
Yeah, before blah, 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 blah. So I think that's what she was asking about. So Sean comes in, announces that, they had, oh, wait a minute. He says after, sorry, you're right. We do learn that they had sex that morning. And then, she puts it in between her boobs. They live really far from where they had to drop it off.
Yeah,
so they're like racing to get
Everything
there.
is so far. The hospital's so far. The doctor's office is so far. Where are they?
I don't know. But and then Sean has to ask the nurse if it's okay that he's not 3 days celibate. Ugh. And then and
Alysia is upset to hear that Sean and Taya had sex because again, one of her boundaries is ignored. She keeps saying, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it. And they just ignore her. They do. They just keep talking about it. Oh, yeah, well, we had sex today. And, this, I mean.
And she gets up out of the room. She leaves the room. And this time Sean does follow her. And she says, I've told you time and time and time again, I'm not happy. And Sean says, well, I wasn't trying to do it on purpose. I just had to ask. Like how you were. I don't know. These people are diabolical. It's almost like the three of them get together and figure out like, how can we
torture Alysia?
Yeah. And then there's one other scene that we see that has to do with episode 6, which is we see Taya talking to her friend Lex. And we find out that Lex is coming to Portland and Sean thinks that there's something more. I'm not sure, but he's not really bothered. So
no, as long as he gets to keep having sex with Taya.
And a roof over his head.
I don't think he cares about much.
Because, I mean, Sean is a middle-aged, more than middle, he's a middle-aged man with zero skills and a record.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs anywhere that will take him in. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
So anyway, this leads into episode 6. Now we're back to the paternity issue.
Mm-hmm.
So we see Taya meets her mom, Jill, and we do hear that they are BFFs. And Taya tells her mom all about what's been going on. And she tells her about the big controversy around the paternity. And mom asks, has anyone else looked this up or corroborated any of this? Bothered?
Because she remembers something from nursing school.
Yes, she went to nursing school many years ago.
She went to nursing school and she remembers. She's like, this doesn't really sound right. And so she Googles it herself.
Yes.
Even though Sean said he Googled it, but apparently, I don't know, didn't put the right search terms in or something.
So we did get, I wanted to read because we did get several listeners, and I got this one message from Sarah on our Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And she was saying, so I don't know what Sarah's background is, but she just basically said, listen, in the ABO blood group, A and B are codominant and O is recessive. Then someone with a B blood can be BB or BO. If parents are both BO, it is possible to have OO offspring. So basically what she's saying is this means someone with B blood can be BB or BO, which is essentially...
It's like redheads, you can have a recessive gene. Yeah.
So thank you, Sarah. So the mom was like, well, why don't I Google this?
Let me try my skill at Googling.
And I would like to say, this is all chat. This is also AI.
It's AI.
It's the AI version of that.
Right.
And so again, I like AI, I use AI, but you do have to vet AI. You do have to double check it. So anyway, but mom reads that, and the best is just Taya staring at her, dumbfounded by this. Because she never bothered to look it up or question it.
Yeah. Well, because she said she didn't really want to know. So I could see her avoiding it, but it was such a big deal that, that's really, you think you'd double check. You'd be like, I don't really want to know, but this is causing such turmoil. And then, and it caused such a problem between Tyler and Sean,
Yeah. And the fact that, they didn't look it up or no one looked at it at all, but it really illustrates how dysfunctional they are as a group, that one person does something, another person, Sean, takes it and then runs with it. And again, I still blame Sean for this. He did not have to look this up at all. This would have been a done nothing.
He didn't do a very good job of looking it up.
Yeah. I feel like he almost saw one quick thing and was like, see, it's not my kid. So now I have something to be mad at and complain about and stomp around about.
Yeah, he didn't even research it right.
And the other thing too, we'll get there. Oh my God. Okay, so now Lex and Chris come into town to visit the quad. And did you see, was it Lex that was wearing an Oh My Quad shirt? I was like, so I guess is that their merch or is that a saying in the quad community?
Know.
Anyway.
Quad merch, I guess.
And then, we hear a little bit about them, and I guess they have a couple kids, and they're part of a quad too. They date, they want...
No. They have been part of a throuple.
That's right. Okay.
Throuple. For 5 years, they had 2 relationships in 5 years.
Got it.
And Lex says that the reason it didn't work out, she always felt that the women were more into Chris than into her.
And Chris is a real cutie in comparison to Sean. I mean...
Well, that's not... Yeah.
Not saying much, but he's
not
cute.
saying much. He's all right, but yeah.
Okay, so then Alysia, they're all getting together, or they're at the farm that the family lives at. And Alysia shares, she says, I know it was really rocky in the beginning. And I'm thinking to myself, was this ever good? Was this ever good?
Right.
So the beginning, when it's all excitement and sex, like the best time of any kind of relationship, that was hard. And then it's hard now. So when has it ever been good? When? I think this is exactly, we're back to the same place that we were in with Sister Wives. It's the same thing. And I think Alysia is Christine. Taya is Robin.
Yeah.
Cody is Sean. And Tyler is Janelle and Mary together. No, Sean is Mary and Cody together. And Tyler is Janelle.
Just sort of easygoing.
Yeah, just kind of getting along with it. But poor Alysia. It's just like, God, Alysia, you just like with Christine, you want to shake her. And are we going to be on Polyfamily season 17 when Alysia finally wakes up?
She finally gets the courage to leave
and realizes, I got to get out of here. Like Raina's off, she's married with her own kids. These other kids are gone. I mean, oh my gosh. Anyway.
Yeah. So then they have a special date for Taya to break the news. We sort of already talked about this.
Yeah. So
the blood type. And so Sean whips out his phone because he doesn't want to be wrong. He doesn't like to be wrong. And then he goes, okay. And Tyler looked very disappointed.
For a couple, well, first off, the way Taya says it to them, Tyler might not be Q's bio father. That's how you present this to people?
Yeah.
It was so weird. Okay. Yes. And then, but Tyler looked really sad. He obviously was. He was really upset and sad. And quite frankly, I mean, and confused. But the fact that Sean did not have one, like, if I was Tyler, I would be looking at Sean waiting for my fucking apology. You people don't want apologies from people all the time. Why don't you give one to Tyler? Because you crucified this guy. You crucified him. Yeah.
No. There seemed to be no consequences to this very careless. And I blame Taya because you know what? She's the one who got the text from Sean. And she, instead of her dealing with it and confirming, okay, is this really true? And before she went and she went and blabbed to Tyler right away. She should have she should have looked into it. She should have called her mom. She knows her mom went to nursing school. She should have done some due diligence, some research, something. I blame her. She started all this. She could have nipped this in the bud.
No. And again, she will claim like, oh, I didn't know or whatever, but that she definitely has that kind of like, oh, not me. I didn't do anything. When I think she loves the idea that these two men are fighting over who fathered her child.
Yes, who sired her child.
Yes.
Yeah.
She loves this.
She loves it. She loves this damsel in distress. She loves the attention. She loves it all. She wants to be like in the middle of these two guys.
Yeah. So, and that's the other thing too. She's with Tyler on that date. You would stop and say, well, what's healthy communication in the quad world? If you're on a date with one partner, it wouldn't be to call the other partner and tell them that you're feeling insecure.
Right.
It would be to talk to the partner that you're with. So again, she breaks so many rules to basically split. She's doing what narcissistic parents do, which is they split the kids. And so she's splitting Tyler and Sean and pitting them against each other.
Totally.
Can't stand her. All right. And then this poor Alysia. So Tyler's outside. Sean's outside throwing baskets. And so Alysia goes out to talk to Sean about the relationship, and she's trying to tell him how she feels. And Sean says the most BS thing, which is, I feel like I can't open up to you because it may hurt you. Like basically blaming Alysia, like I can't be honest with you because you're so quote unquote sensitive about so many different things. I can't talk to you because I don't know what's going to upset you, Alysia. So that's why I have to go to Taya, which is such BS.
Yeah. And she's saying to him, she's practically begging. She's like, she wants more comfort from him. She wants him to stop talking about Taya so much. They're not having sex. And you can see that Sean just, like you said, just defaults to Taya for anything. I mean, he's just going along to get along with Alysia.
Yeah.
Doesn't really care.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like this one of these things where they keep talking about how, like you said, it's not as good as it used to be. Well, when was it good? And it needs so much work. It's like, this is just, I felt really sorry for Alysia during these episodes. It's just like, she's getting the short end of the stick.
Well, I don't know. I'm really hoping Alysia is watching these back, or maybe Alysia is reading comments and trying to get into this, and maybe she's seeing some of this stuff. I don't know. I really hope she's gets it together, because she really needs. This is not benefiting you at all. At all.
No.
But again, the part that seems so insane to me is, you all could just make your lives so much easier if you didn't live together. You just met up, had sex once a week. You know what I mean? And that's it. Like,
but then where would Sean and Taya live?
I know. But
how would they get first and last month's rent, the security deposit? No one has a job. I don't think that TikTok was making that much.
Oh God, no. But I mean, I don't. It's just. But it's so weird. Like you kind of, right. You're in this situation where this is what I'm a married person. I've been married a long time. Like, this is kind of what every married person wants, is like the opportunity to have like a pass to like go out and do something and be crazy, and it not like totally, implode their entire relationship. So you, Tyler and Alysia, you have that you have these partners that are allowing that and seem to be okay with this. This could be it. This is it. You could have it all. But you had to have children with these people. I mean, this is, oh God.
Yeah.
And all you're doing is talking about feelings. Seems like a lot more feelings talk than having sex.
Fun.
So, okay. Anywho, wait a minute. Okay. So then the next scene after, we see they go to that indoor play area with Lex and Chris, the quad, and Lex and Chris and their kids. And Taya and Lex are flirting and making all of these very sexual comments.
Yes. Lex is grabbing her butt and saying she's a hot mom.
Ugh. Can we also go back to one thing about Taya, who, when she was at that night with Sean, when she was off with Tyler, was saying, I feel weird. I feel like my body is not back. I feel odd. Then a day or two later, she's having sex with Sean. And then a day or two later, she's flirting with this woman.
Yeah, I think that was just for a storyline.
Or was it to create something with Tyler so that then she can run to Sean about it? Like, I do kind of wonder if part of her was a little bit like, I don't know, something off about all this. But okay.
Is this part of their thing? Is this part of their kink?
Maybe.
Because of the age difference between Taya and Sean. I mean, I don't know. It almost seems like he's almost like a father figure.
Yeah.
Like, do you think she likes to go to him with creates these things to...
Yeah, I mean, I truly think that if they asked Sean if he wanted to watch, I think he'd want to watch. I wouldn't be surprised if he bore a hole in the wall.
He probably already has some peepholes.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it feels like to me. It feels like he wants to. He wants to watch, and he wants to be a voyeur, and that's why he keeps wanting to talk about the sex and doesn't understand why Alysia doesn't get it.
What's going on?
Yeah, and he hates that Alysia doesn't want to know what's going on, because Alicia's keeping this away from him.
Yeah.
So then after that, we see Alysia and Tyler, they're taking care of a horse. So I guess they have, Tyler and Alysia have full-time jobs, like full-time, big-time jobs. Plus they have this farm with chickens and horses and 5 kids. That's a lot. Anyway, we see Alysia call, she goes to Tyler to get the support that she needs to call her father. The call is not filmed, but I guess apparently she said she told her dad how she felt. Her dad still didn't take it well. And that was that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that meant, if they were going to keep talking. I think that Alysia probably felt a lot of pressure to start off by saying you have to accept Sean and Taya versus my recommendation would be like, hey, Dad, can we get together for lunch?
Yeah. Can you get to know these people?
Or just like one of the two of you just talk.
Yeah, just
talk, the two of you. Talk through it and get to a better place. But no.
No, that's too much.
All right. So then we see Taya and Lex, they go have a drink together. And this is where Lex tells Taya how she feels, how she's low-key crushing. Of course, the logistics are scary because they both are new mothers. They live 12 hours away from each other. She's part of a committed quad. And I don't know what else, but can it work between these two crazy kids?
It's not going to stop Taya.
No.
It's what Taya wants, Taya gets.
Yes. So now Sean and Alysia have to have another date to make up for how crappy the first date was. This was painful to watch.
This was.
So Sean and Alysia go see an intimacy specialist, Lalita. And all I wrote was, this is painful. I don't think I wrote anything else. I was looking away for part of it. I was really secondhand embarrassed for both of them.
Sean says, and he's not wrong, he says this is comical because Alysia doesn't even like to talk about intimacy. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. This is sort of like starting out on third base, you know?
Yeah.
Like maybe you need to start from, the beginning. And they go from 0 to 100. Like it's, she makes them get down on the floor and straddle each other. And, and it's weird.
Yeah, she was asking Lalita was asking Alysia questions like, well, what do you enjoy he does? And she can't even answer it. And I think it was a couple things. I think the producers pressured her to do this date. Hey, let's have a makeup date. Why don't you guys see this intimacy coordinator, Lalita? She's been calling us. We've got someone on speed dial. I think it was partially the producers. And I think it was I think that Alysia feels like I need to be more like Taya. And this is something Taya would do. Or this is something Taya would be into. So I need to be Taya. So I need to be more, whatever that means, sexually free and open. But it's like, Alysia, be Alysia.
Yeah.
You're Alysia. Like, you're not comfortable with this. So don't do it.
Yeah.
I didn't write any other notes.
And she said, I think that I don't know if it was Lolita who was asking. Basically, Alysia says that she doesn't like her ass being grabbed. And Sean says that's his favorite part is her ass. And he loves to grab her ass. It's like, wow, we are really, really like just so off base here. I mean, we can't even agree on that. I mean,
yeah, well,
I don't know where we go from here.
I don't either. The other thing, too, is it seems like, well, Sean likes to, again, be a viewer, a voyeur, see it, go after it, grab someone's ass, something like, something that a stranger would do on a subway.
Right.
And there's a name for that. And so, and I would think that for her, she probably feels a little startled or it feels weird or she doesn't like it. I don't know. This whole, And it goes back to, so when was it ever good?
Yeah.
When was it ever good? I've yet to hear you ever tell me about a time like, oh, this was the best time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when Tyler and Taya were making fun of them saying, their idea of a date is going to the Container Store together, so it kind of seems like that's just always been their thing. It feels like they were never really wild and whatever.
No.
Yeah. So finally, Taya has to talk to the quad about Lex. And it kind of seems like no one's really surprised. But then all of a sudden, Tyler's like, okay, well, great. Does that mean like I can date women? And everyone's like, whoa. And, Alysia does not want to open up the quad for the guys to date other women. And Tyler says he thinks it's unethical and unfair. And I kind of agree with him. He seems very worried and upset, because this is Taya. This is the main link here. Yes. And she is, and I forget who said this. One of them said, you can't undo an open quad, or you can't undo an open quad once it's opened. Basically, it's like if you open this up, you're never going to be able to go back to what it's like.
Yes. Who did say that? Was that Alysia? I don't know. Alysia immediately starts panicking because she can't handle Tyler having sex, or Sean. Even Sean, she can't. Maybe Sean, maybe. Yeah. But she can't handle that. So she starts arguing for this whole thing, which again, I see both sides. I really do, which is that Taya's pansexual and this is a woman and she's not getting fulfilled by a woman and la, 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 la. But, again, I think that argument doesn't really fly because if you, Taya, what did you think? You're in this closed quad. There's no woman involved. So if you feel like, oh, well, I want to be with women, then you knew you were eventually going to go down this road, right? I mean, I would think that if someone who is pansexual, if you commit to marrying one person, you're kind of committing to that person. And you don't, just because you're attracted to other people doesn't mean that that's an open door for you to be able to sleep with other people.
Yeah, it kind of seemed to me like she thought Alysia was going to be open to this.
Maybe.
But she wasn't because she's not gay. She's straight. And so when that didn't pan out, she had to figure out something else. And I mean, look, I'm with Tyler, honestly. It's like, why should she just get to, be special, just because Alysia says, oh, well, she's pansexual. And Tyler says something like, so, like, yeah. And I get it. Well, and so that, and then it's just that's where we're left.
Yeah. That's the cliffhanger. These people cannot get along about anything.
No.
Anything ever. The only time I think we saw them getting along the entire season was in that gross yacht tub off on the sea. They were together for an afternoon. Well, and even that was weird and tense, had its tense moments.
I know. I just was looking up. Okay. I wanted to see, how many more followers they got from this Polyfamily account from the beginning of this series till now. Because I remember when it first came on, it had like 212, 215, something like that, followers. Okay, so I just searched Polyfamily. It's got the little blue check mark. And it says Taya Heartless. And it says 132,000 followers. I think she took over this site and now it's just hers.
Oh.
And she runs it, but it says personal blog. It says polyamorous parents, close quad, family by love, not blood. Okay. And so what's going on here?
I don't know.
It's like they just switched over because this is the only Polyfamily and it's got the blue check mark. It's got to be the same count. So it's like they started all over again.
Or did they lose 100,000 followers from the show? That seems very odd.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that is weird.
I think she's maybe like restarted it in some way because wants to rebrand it in some way.
Well, I highly recommend checking it out because it'll make you want to just pull your hair out. It's so frustrating and it's so annoying. And it's either Taya walking and talking and lecturing you on her lifestyle and telling you and fussing at you, or she's lecturing about being persecuted in some way, shape, or form, or she's doing these dumb vignettes that make no sense and they're not even authentic.
Yeah, she's a weird one.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Do you think this is really going to come back?
Yes, I do. I do. I think it costs them so little to make these shows. I think the ratings, my guess would be people are talking about it. I mean, this is TLC's wheelhouse. This is, this is their kind of show. And trust me, if they can find other variations of these kinds of couples and families, I think they're going to keep doing it.
Maybe they'll bring another family on, like sort of like Seeking Sister Wives, where they have, like they follow 3 different
closed quads or people
stories.
Looking for quads.
Yeah, or just 3 different stories of polyamory in some way, shape, or form. But
maybe,
yeah, supposedly some other podcasters have said that Seeking Sister Wives is going to come back and replace this on whatever night it's on.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, we'll figure out what we're going to do here.
Oh, wow.
I know. These shows, they're crazy. They're insane. And yet I can't stop watching them.
I know.
Anyway. Oh, can I also I can't remember if someone pointed this out online or where I saw this, but it's a very good point, which is why is it so important that if you knew who the father was of one of these children, why would that change how you saw the child? Do you know what I mean? There's a little bit of this whole thing of we don't want to know the biology of these boys because we're fearful of, we're one big family and we don't want to see any difference with it. But the reality is, who the biological mother is. So you already know some of those things. And so what's the issue? That you're basically saying that you worry that these children would be treated differently by some of the men based on knowing if it was their biological child or not. It seems to me like Alysia and Taya are able to see all 3 of the children, all the kids. They know who birthed all these children.
Right. So it's not an issue for them.
So it's only an issue for the men.
Yeah.
It's either only an issue for the men or there's something else going on here that.
Well, that's the thing. It's easy for Taya and Alysia to say, oh, it doesn't matter because
Yeah.
It's not an issue for you. So for the men to say, oh, it doesn't matter to me, I think there's a problem with that on a few levels. One, I don't think that's human nature.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that human nature, people are always curious, even when people are adopted or, they use a sperm donor. People are always a little curious. They just have questions. It's not judgmental. Look, we are animals. Okay. Mm-hmm. And in the animal world, there's all kinds of rules about offspring. And we've talked about this before, how babies are usually born looking more like their fathers so that their fathers can recognize that, oh, that's my offspring. So they don't kill them.
Mm-hmm.
And also, this has come about, with people who've donated a lot of sperm is, you don't want to be dating your biological sibling.
Yes.
You kind of need to know who.
Yeah. Who's in your dating pool?
Who's in your dating pool?
And this seems like a real small town. And this isn't New York City. This is Lebanon, Oregon.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It's obviously important, or we wouldn't even be talking about it. And that's not to discount people who are adopted and this and that. It's not at all. But it's like, if you have the chance of knowing, look at all the people who go in search of their biological parents, who have lovely relationships with their adoptive parents, and those are their parents, and they are totally, but they're curious, just curiosity.
And some people maintain relationships with the biological parents that they meet, and some don't. Like it is very different, but yeah. And that's that other part too. As a society, we seem to get very upset when people feel very upset when they learn that they've been adopted and they weren't told,
right?
When things are kept from them. And I think that, listen, I don't know what the experts on, adopted children, parenting experts would say about this, but I would think the bulk of them would say that at some point the parents do need to say something to the kid. And that is the healthiest thing to do and a way of introducing it. So, what would be such the big deal if you knew? I think it's about Taya, and I feel like Taya is the one that's driving this desire. to not know.
Yeah. Taya just likes to be messy, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you can tell Alysia is much more traditional. This was not her idea. She was brainwashed into this, I believe. Taya just really, really likes to be different and get attention for it. And
because she doesn't feel confident within whom she is. It's like, I don't think you're so scared, Taya, to show us who you really are that you feel like you have to show us some version of someone that you think you should be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and she's 29. She's still very young, even though she's had all these kids. And you know what I mean? She's still young. So even though you're married to a very old man. All right. So, oh boy, I'm very sad the show is over, but for now, it will be back.
We'll see. So are we going to cover Seeking Sister Wives?
I don't know. We got to talk about that and figure that out. But let us know, people. I know we did get some comments that people do want us to cover And Just Like That.
Oh, yes. That's coming back in a couple days. And I mean, look, I'm going to be watching it anyway. And I'm going to be wanting to talk about it anyway. So we might as well just record it.
Yeah. So we can talk about Seeking Sister Wives. We'll figure it out. All right. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. If you enjoy this podcast, there's lots of different ways to support us. You can leave us, if you haven't already, a 5-star rating and review. Those really do help us and help people find us. You can share it with a friend. You can subscribe. You can follow us on social media at Psych Legal Pop. And if you want even more content, if you're like, God damn it, I can't get enough of those Brigham sisters.
So many people are saying that.
People are clamoring. And if you're one of them, then come and join our, it's our closed dyad, whatever you want to call it, over our Patreon. What would we call it? Our closed dyad on Patreon.
A dyad, yeah.
A dyad, yes.
The two sisters, that's it.
Yes. Yeah. Over on Patreon, you get all these episodes ad-free, plus you get a weekly bonus, plus for our higher $8 tier, we have a couple extras for them as well. So go check us out there. Yeah, and I think that's it. Thank you so much for tuning in and being listening to us. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.